My boyfriend said the week before our wedding, "I need to be honest. I don't actually love you. I just like the idea of being married." I replied, "Thank you for telling me." Then I canceled everything and sent him a bill for half the non-refundable deposits when he'd already spent his half on his celebration trip. I got dumped 1 week before my wedding. Not just dumped, told he never actually loved me. We'd been together almost 4 years, engaged for one, wedding planned, invitations sent, venue booked, everything ready. Monday night last week, sitting on the couch after dinner, he went quiet. That specific kind of quiet where you know something's coming. "We need to talk." Never good words. "Okay." He took this long breath, then just said it. "I need to be honest. I don't actually love you. I just really like the idea of being married." I sat there, waited for more. Nothing came. "You what? You're great." "Really? But I'm not in love with you. I wanted the wedding, the suit, the whole experience. But I realized I got caught up in the idea. Week before the wedding. I know. I'm sorry, but I had to tell you." "Had to tell me, week before." "Okay," I said. "Thanks for telling me." He looked surprised, almost disappointed. "Really?" "Yeah." "Better now than after, so we can postpone. Give me time to figure out my feelings." I stared at him. "No, we're done." "Wait, what? I didn't mean—" "You don't love me. What exactly am I supposed to do with that information?" He started backtracking immediately. "I care about you. Maybe love develops. People say it takes time. We've been together for years. It's cold feet. Everyone gets them." Cold feet is nerves about commitment. Not "I never loved you," but enjoyed wedding planning. Different things. He got defensive. "This is why I was scared to tell you." "You're being harsh." "Harsh, right?" I stood up, sleeping in the spare room. "We'll figure out logistics tomorrow." Didn't sleep much. Kept thinking about it for years. Week before the wedding. How long had he known? Next morning, I started making calls. Wedding was expensive. We'd split costs roughly evenly. Some I paid, some he paid, but the big stuff was supposed to be equal shares. Venue deposit $8,000, total non-refundable, my half $4,000. Catering deposit $6,500, total non-refundable, my half $3,250. Photography $2,800 deposit non-refundable, my half $1,400. Flowers $1,200 deposit non-refundable, my half $600. DJ $800 deposit non-refundable, my half $400. He owed me $9,750. Canceled everything. Every vendor listened to sympathy, apologies, policy, explanations, whatever. Just canceled it all. Then sent him an email. Professional, clean, itemized list with receipt copies. "Since you've decided not to proceed with a marriage, here's your portion of non-refundable expenses. Payment plan available if needed." He called minutes later. "Are you serious?" "Yeah, I'm billing you for the wedding you canceled. You ended the relationship. Cancellation was the consequence." Yeah. "This is insane. I can't afford this payment plan then. I don't have this money. Where'd your half go? You were supposed to save it." Silence. "Where is it?" "I spent it on what?" More silence. "On what?" "My friends and I took a trip last month. Bachelor celebration thing. Couldn't help it." I laughed. "You spent wedding money on a party for a wedding you didn't want?" "I wanted the wedding, just not with you. Look, it's complicated. It's simple. You owe $9,650. Figure it out." "You're being a jerk." "I'm being fair." Hung up. He called back 3 times. I ignored them all. Spent the rest of that week canceling everything else. Honeymoon. Got most back, thankfully. Told family. Told friends. Returned my dress? He moved out that weekend. Took his stuff with his best friend helping. Friend kept shooting me, looks like I was the villain. Week later, text. "Talk to a lawyer. You can't make me pay for a wedding that didn't happen." My response? Cool. I also talked to a lawyer. "Pay voluntarily or I sue in small claims for breach of contract. Your call." Radio silence for days. Update 1. A couple weeks after what should have been my wedding day. Things escalated when he realized I wasn't backing down. His mother called one evening. "This is ridiculous. You're harassing my son," asking him to pay his share of agreed expenses. I'm asking him to pay what he agreed to. He canceled everything. That's on him. He ended the engagement. No wedding to have. He needed time. You could have postponed. He told me he doesn't love you. Nothing to postpone. Cold feet. Every groom gets them. Ma'am, not debating this. He owes half the deposits. We can't afford this. Then payment plan under a month. Whatever works. That'll take years. Shouldn't have spent on vacation. Then she hung up. Called back later. He can't pay this. You know he can't. Not my problem. He made commitments. Click. His sister started texting long paragraphs about financial abuse, how I'm controlling, and how this proves he was right to leave. Didn't respond. Just screenshotted everything. Then my ex showed up at my apartment one evening. Can we talk about payment? About us? There is no us. I was confused. I panicked. I do love you. Love. Week before the wedding. I know, but I made a mistake. Let me fix this. Fix is $9,050. Stop being cruel. I'm apologizing. Not cruel. You broke commitments. Money doesn't disappear because you change your mind. I don't have it. Second job, payment plan, sell stuff. Don't care how. It was my bachelor party for a wedding you didn't want. He cried. Why are you like this? This isn't you. You don't know me well. Spent 4 years with someone you don't love. That's not fair. Neither is sticking me with 10 grand because you wanted to play groom. He left, slammed the door. A few days later, Buddy called, was supposed to be a groomsman. Dude, his friend is saying you're blackmailing him. How is asking for owed money blackmail? They're saying you're threatening legal action unless he gets back together. No, threatening legal action unless he pays what he owes. Relationship's done. They're making me look psycho online. Let them. I have receipts. Week after that, got served. Papers claiming I was harassing him. Lawyer buddy read them, laughed. This is garbage. He owes you money. You can ask for it. Countersue for the amount plus costs. Filed countersuit. Small claims for full amount plus fees. That's when she went nuclear. Update 2. Month after the canceled wedding date, hearing got scheduled. Small claims court would decide. Before that, though, full meltdown mode. His mother started calling my mom, crying about how I was ruining her son's life and how I should be a man and let it go. My mom shut it down hard. Your son broke my daughter's heart and stuck her with debt. He shouldn't make commitments he can't keep. Didn't go well. His mother started telling people my mom raised me wrong. My mom's response, posted everything on social media. Full itemized list of expenses. What I paid, what he was supposed to pay, what's non-refundable. Caption. For anyone wondering why asking for owed money makes my daughter mean, brutal. Didn't ask her to, but appreciated it. Ex's best friend created an online fundraiser. Some smaller site to help him escape financial abuse. Sob story about me forcing him to pay for a wedding he was too afraid to go through. Raised maybe $300 before someone reported it. Got taken down. My ex showed up at my work. Security called me down. He was in the lobby crying. Please, please drop this. Pay what you owe. I don't have it. Not my problem. You're destroying me. You destroyed yourself. Spent money on parties instead of saving for commitments. Security escorted him out. He was screaming about me being heartless, about giving him the best years of his life. HR called me later. Someone complained I was creating a hostile environment, had to explain everything, showed security footage of him showing up uninvited. They got it, warned him not to return. Week before the hearing, his lawyer tried settling. Offered $3,000 total. That's not even a third. It's what he could afford. Then payments. My client says this is harassment. Your client spent party money instead of honoring commitments she made. See you in court. Hung up while he was arguing. Hearing day came. Small courtroom. Bored judge. He showed up with his mother and sister. Death glares all around. Her lawyer went first. Argued no wedding means no debt, that I forced the cancellation, that he was coerced into the expenses. Judge looked skeptical. My turn. Presented everything. Vendor contracts with both names. Email chains about budget. Text where he agreed to split costs. Bank statements showing I paid both halves of deposits. Proof of vacation spending instead of saving. Judge reviewed it. Looked at him. You agreed to these expenses? Yes, but I didn't save the money. You didn't think you spent it on vacation? It was my bachelor party for a wedding you called off. I had cold feet. Judge looked at me. Offer a payment plan? Yes, Your Honor. Any reasonable terms. He refused. Claims he shouldn't pay anything. He looked back at me. Why? Because he canceled everything. I just needed time. Did you tell him you don't love him? Yes. Week before the wedding? Yes. So he was supposed to keep the date and hope? No. We could have postponed. At whose expense? Silence. Judgment for plaintiff. Defendant owes $9,650 plus $450 court costs. Total $10,100. Payment plan acceptable within 30 days. Otherwise, wage garnishment authorized. Her mother gasped. Sister put her head down. X stared. This is unfair, her mother yelled. Judge banged the gavel. It's fair. Your daughter made commitments and broke them. Adjourned. Outside, her mother came at me. You happy now? Will be when she pays. She doesn't have it. Maybe she'll learn about commitments. You're vindictive. I'm practical. Stupid games, stupid prizes. Sister jumped in. You never loved him anyway. I was ready to marry him. He didn't love me. Remember? No response, just glares. They left with him crying. Buddy met me for drinks. Feel good? Not particularly, but feel right. That's something. Yeah, it was. Final update. 2 months since the canceled wedding. Aftermath has been interesting. He set up payments, $100 a month. At that rate, he'll be paying until he's like 40. His choice. I offered other terms. He picked this one out of spite. Whatever. Getting paid. First payment came through. Second, too. Third, due soon. Her mother tried one last play. Called my mom crying about him barely affording groceries. My mom. He could afford vacation. He can afford responsibility. Haven't heard since. Ex's best friend posts vague stuff online about people weaponizing money and toxic masculinity. Don't care. Mutual friends split evenly. Half think I'm right, half think I'm too harsh. Lost some friends, gained clarity about who actually matters. Works fine. No more drama. HR appreciated how I handled it. Apartment's quieter. We went from planning a future to just not, but peaceful too. No wedding stress. No wondering if he wanted this. Now I know he didn't. Dating? Not yet. Not ready. Trust issues real. For years with someone who never loved you messes with your head. Therapy helps. Therapists said setting boundaries and enforcing consequences is healthy. Most people would have eaten the cost to keep peace. That's not peace, that's being a doormat. Financial hit still stings. Even with repayment, out money. Deposits gone nowhere, invitations canceled, time wasted. But better than marrying someone who didn't love me, better than finding out after, better than years of fake marriage. She's paying slowly, moving forward. Not a happy ending, but an honest one. People ask if I regret, if I should have let it go. No, she made a choice. Gets consequences. Don't get to break someone's heart. Stick them with debt. Walk away like nothing happened. Not how life works. Not how it should work. She wanted Instagram wedding without commitment. Party without partnership. Aesthetic without authenticity. And when that fell apart, wanted me to footbill. Nah, she's making payments. I'm in therapy. Life goes on. Bitter? Not really. Disappointed? Sure. Hurt? Yeah. Bitter requires caring enough to hold grudges. I just want my money. After that, she can do whatever. Date whoever, marry whoever, play bride for whoever funds it. Won't be me. Someone asked if I'd take her back if she realized her mistake. No. Don't come back from I never loved you. Don't rebuild trust after that. Don't want to. Now I know what it looks like when someone treats relationships like transactions. Someone more in love with ideas than reality. Next time, if there is one, I want someone who wants me. Not the wedding, not the photos, not the fantasy. Me. Rather be single than settle for less. Wedding canceled, money being repaid, life continues. Not the ending I planned, but the ending I got. Better than the alternative. Week before the canceled wedding, I kept replaying everything in my head. How long had he known? Did he plan to drop this on me at the last minute? My emotions swung between anger, disbelief, and grief. 4 years, almost a lifetime together, and suddenly, nothing. The idea of losing everything, my dream wedding, my future with him, the shared life we'd planned, was crushing. I started methodically contacting every vendor again: venue, catering, photographer, florist, DJ. I had to cancel. I had to take control. Each call was mechanical at first: dates, deposits, cancellations. But the reality of it hit me every time. Hearing the disappointment in their voices reminded me of what had been lost, of the life that wasn't going to happen. By Friday, almost everything was officially canceled. Most vendors were sympathetic, but sympathy didn't pay bills. Then the email: professional, polite, unemotional, itemized list of deposits, my half and his half, with copies of receipts attached. Since you decided not to proceed with the marriage, here's your portion of the non-refundable expenses. Payment plan available if needed. I hit send and felt a small sense of relief. It was logical. It was fair. And yet, it still felt painfully cold. Minutes later, his first call came. "Are you serious?" he demanded. "Yes, I'm billing you for the wedding you canceled. You ended the relationship. Cancellation was the consequence." "This is insane. I can't afford this payment plan. I don't have this money. Where did your half go? You were supposed to save it." "Where is it?" I asked quietly. "I spent it on what?" he stammered. "Your bachelor trip," I replied, unflinching. "The party you took instead of saving your share for our wedding." He was silent. Then a shaky laugh. "You spent wedding money on a party for a wedding you didn't want?" "I wanted the wedding, just not with you." He tried to justify it. "Look, it's complicated." "It's simple," I interrupted. "You owe $9,150. Figure it out." The next several days were a blur of calls, texts, and ignored attempts. He called repeatedly, but I didn't answer. I focused on canceling the rest of the vendors, contacting my family, returning the wedding dress. He moved out that weekend, packing his things with a friend's help. The friend kept shooting me accusing looks, as if I were the villain. Then came the text from his family. "Talk to a lawyer. You can't make me pay for a wedding that didn't happen." My response was calm, deliberate. I had already consulted a lawyer. "Pay voluntarily, or I sue in small claims for breach of contract. Your call." Weeks of silence followed. Then, escalating calls from his mother. "You're harassing my son. Asking him to pay his share of agreed expenses is harassment." I stayed firm. "He agreed to these expenses. You ended the engagement. There's nothing to debate. He owes half the non-refundable deposits." And then the sisters' texts. Long, venomous paragraphs about financial abuse, manipulation, control. I didn't respond. I screenshotted everything, methodically documenting proof of his agreement and the reality of the expenses. A week later, he showed up at my apartment unannounced. "Can we talk about payment? About us?" "There is no us," I said firmly. "I do love you. Week before the wedding, I made a mistake. Let me fix this." "Fix is $9,650, I said evenly. "Stop being cruel." "I'm trying to apologize." "Not cruel. You broke a contract. Financial obligations don't disappear because you change your mind." "I don't have it." "Second job, payment plan, sell some stuff, I don't care how. You committed to these expenses and spent your half partying instead. It was your bachelor party for a wedding you canceled." He began to cry. "Why are you like this? This isn't me. You don't know me. 4 years with someone you didn't love? That's not fair. Neither is sticking me with 10 grand in wedding debt because I wanted to play groom." I stood my ground. He slammed the door and left. A few days later, my buddy called. "Dude, your friend says you're blackmailing him." "How is asking for owed money blackmail?" "They're saying you're threatening legal action unless he gets back together." "No, I'm threatening legal action unless he pays what he owes. The relationship is done." They painted me as the villain online. Let them. I had receipts. The week after, papers arrived. He claimed I was harassing him. My lawyer laughed. "She owes you money. You can ask for it. Countersue for the amount plus costs. You'll win." Filed the countersuit. Small claims court. Full amount plus fees. That's when his family went nuclear. His mother called my mom, sobbing, demanding mercy, accusing me of destroying his life. My mom shut it down hard. "Your son broke my daughter's heart and left her with debt. If he can't afford consequences, he shouldn't make commitments." His mother spread rumors, saying my mom raised me wrong. My mom responded by posting the itemized receipts on social media. Full transparency. Caption: for anyone wondering why asking for owed money makes my daughter mean, brutal. I didn't ask her to, but it was appreciated. His best friend created an online fundraiser to help him escape financial abuse, complete with a sob story about me forcing him to pay for a wedding he was too afraid to go through. It raised maybe $300 before being taken down. Then he showed up at my work, sobbing, begging, screaming about how heartless I was, about giving him the best years of his life. Security escorted him out. HR called me later. Someone complained I was creating a hostile work environment. I calmly explained everything, showed the footage, and they understood. Week before the hearing, his lawyer offered $3,000 to settle, not even a third of what he owed. I declined. Your client spent money on parties instead of honoring wedding commitments. I have proof. See you in court. Hearing day came. Small courtroom. He appeared with his mother and sister. Death glares all around. His lawyer argued no wedding meant no debt, that I forced cancellation, that he was coerced into agreeing to expenses. Judge skeptical. My turn. Presented everything. Contracts with both our names, emails about budgets, texts agreeing to split costs, bank statements showing I paid both halves, proof of vacation spending instead of saving his share. Judge looked at him. You agreed to these expenses? Yes, but I didn't save the money. You didn't think you spent it on a vacation? It was my bachelor party for a wedding you canceled. I had cold feet. Judge asked about a payment plan. Yes, Your Honor, any reasonable terms. He refused, claiming he shouldn't have to pay anything. Why? Judge asked him. Because I canceled everything. I needed time. Did you tell her you didn't love her? Yes, week before the wedding. So he was supposed to keep the date and hope I'd forgive him? No, we could have postponed. At whose expense? Silence. Judgment for plaintiff. Defendant owes $9,750 plus $450 court costs. Total $10,100. Payment plan acceptable within 30 days. Otherwise, wage garnishment authorized. His mother gasped. Sister buried her head. He stared. This is unfair, his mother yelled. Judge banged the gavel. It's fair. Your son made financial commitments and failed to honor them. Outside, his mother confronted me. You happy now? Yes, when he pays. He doesn't have it. Then maybe he'll learn to honor commitments. You're vindictive. I'm practical. Stupid games, stupid prizes. Sister jumped in. You never loved him anyway. I was ready to marry him. He didn't love me. Remember? No response, just glares. They left with him crying. Buddy met me for drinks. Feel good? Not particularly, but feel right. That's something. Yeah, it was. 2 months later, aftermath continues. He set up a payment plan, $100 a month. At that rate, he'll be paying until he's 40, his choice. I offered other options. He picked this one out of spite. Fine. First payment came through, second too. Third, due soon. His mother tried one last manipulation, calling my mom, crying he could barely afford groceries. Mom, he could afford vacation. He can afford responsibility. Haven't heard since. Ex's best friend posts vague things online about weaponizing money and toxic masculinity. I don't care. Mutual friends split evenly. Half think I'm right, half think I'm too harsh. Lost a few friends. Gained clarity. Work fine. HR appreciated my professionalism. Apartment quieter. We went from planning a future to just not, but peaceful too. No wedding stress. No wondering if he wanted this. Now I know he didn't. Dating? Not yet. Trust issues real. Therapy helps. Therapists said setting boundaries and enforcing consequences is healthy. Most people would have eaten the cost to keep peace. That's not peace. That's being a doormat. Financial hit still stings. Even with repayment, money lost, deposits gone, invitations canceled, time wasted, but better than marrying someone who didn't love me. Better than finding out after. Better than years of a fake marriage. She's paying slowly, moving forward. Not a happy ending, but an honest one. People ask if I regret it. No. He made a choice. He gets the consequences. You don't get to break someone's heart, walk away, and leave them with debt. That's not life. not how it should work. He wanted the Instagram wedding without commitment, the party without partnership, the aesthetic without authenticity. And when it fell apart, he wanted me to foot the bill for his fantasy. Not happening. He's making payments. I'm in therapy. Life goes on. Bitter? Not really. Disappointed? Sure. Hurt? Yeah. But bitterness requires caring enough to hold a grudge. I just want my money back. After that, he can do whatever. Date whoever, marry whoever, play groom for whoever funds it. Won't be me. Someone asked if I'd take him back if he realized his mistake. No. You don't come back from, I never loved you. Trust doesn't rebuild after that. And honestly, I don't want to. Now I know what it looks like when someone treats relationships like transactions, when someone's in love with an idea rather than reality. Next time, if there is one, I want someone who wants me. Not the wedding, not the photos, not the fantasy. Just me. I'd rather be single than settle for less. Weddings canceled, money being repaid, life continuing. Not the ending I planned, but better than the alternative. In the weeks that followed, life slowly settled into a new rhythm. My apartment was quieter without his presence, and despite the chaos, there was a sense of control returning to my life. I started focusing on things I had neglected during wedding planning: work, friends, self-care. Every email, call, and text from vendors became a reminder of the life I was no longer tied to, but also of the independence I reclaimed. Therapy sessions were cathartic. Talking through the betrayal, the sudden loss, and the unfair financial burden helped me understand boundaries, responsibility, and the importance of enforcing consequences. My therapist noted that most people would have eaten the cost just to keep the peace, but peace built on injustice is no peace at all. I realized I had chosen clarity over comfort, truth over compromise, and fairness over sentimentality. Meanwhile, the payment plan slowly made its way through. Each month, the $100 deposit arriving in my account was a small, tangible reminder that consequences exist. Not revenge, not satisfaction, but accountability. Over time, the anger softened. What remained was a steady, clear understanding of value, both emotional and financial, and the lessons it taught me about trust and self-respect. Friends were divided. Some admired my firmness. Others whispered that I'd been too harsh. But over time, I noticed who truly supported me. Those who remained, who didn't question my decisions, became the core of my circle. Life without the drama allowed me to focus on building relationships that were mutual, respectful, and authentic. Social media remained a battlefield of vague posts, indirect accusations, and thinly veiled critiques. I stopped reading them. They were irrelevant. The real victory wasn't proving him wrong to the world. It was reclaiming my own life, my dignity, and my peace of mind. The financial lessons were harsh but necessary. I became meticulous with budgeting, saving, and planning. The experience hardened my sense of responsibility without embittering me. I learned the real cost of ignoring red flags, the importance of confronting uncomfortable truths, and the empowerment of enforcing boundaries without guilt. Slowly, dating became a thought rather than a reality. I wasn't ready. Trust takes time to rebuild after years with someone who never truly loved you. But I allowed myself to imagine a future where I was sought, wanted, and valued for who I was, not the fantasy he projected onto me. Looking back, the wedding, the planning, and the heartbreak were all lessons cloaked in pain. The money, the lost celebrations, the betrayal, they were part of a narrative that tested my resolve. And though I emerged bruised, I emerged stronger, more grounded, and unwavering in the knowledge that I deserved honesty, love, and partnership, not illusions. Today, the apartment is calm, work is steady, friends are chosen, and I am rebuilding. The payment plan continues as agreed. Each month is a reminder not of anger or resentment, but of principle, fairness, and the life I chose to protect. No one can take that away. I reflect sometimes on what could have been: the wedding, the life imagined, the partnership, but the clarity of what is outweighs any longing for what isn't. He made choices. I made choices. Consequences followed. And in the end, that is what life is: accountability, lessons, and the unwavering pursuit of integrity. The story doesn't end with a fairy tale wedding, a flawless love story, or mutual reconciliation. It ends with honesty, resilience, and a firm stance on personal boundaries. It ends with me reclaiming control of my life, finances, and emotions. It ends with moving forward, wiser, stronger, and more certain of the kind of love and partnership I truly deserve. Months passed, and the rhythm of life finally began to feel steady. Each payment he made was a small, tangible acknowledgement that choices have consequences. I no longer felt the acute sting of betrayal every time I thought of him. Instead, I felt a quiet, resolute satisfaction, justice, fairness, and the reclaiming of my autonomy. Friends and family remained my anchor. The ones who had questioned my decisions drifted away, leaving only those who understood the necessity of boundaries and integrity. I realized that loyalty isn't always about agreeing with every decision. It's about respecting the values and principles of the people you care about. Those who stayed were true supporters. Those who left were merely spectators. Therapy continued to be a sanctuary. Each session helped me process not only the financial betrayal, but the emotional manipulation that had occurred. I worked through anger, grief, and disappointment, replacing them with clarity, self-respect, and strategies for future relationships. I learned that enforcing consequences isn't cruel. It's a form of self-preservation and a statement of worth. As time went on, dating became a distant thought rather than an urgent need. The wounds were too fresh to rush into something new, but the hope for authentic love remained. I imagined a future with someone who valued me wholly, not as a component of a fantasy wedding, social status, or aesthetic. I wanted someone who loved me for my reality, not my ability to host a perfect celebration. The experience also reshaped my approach to financial responsibility. I became meticulous with savings, budgets, and contracts. I no longer allowed sentimentality to cloud logic or fairness. Each decision was measured, deliberate, and aligned with my values. The wedding debacle had been a painful teacher, but its lessons were invaluable. Trust must be earned, commitments honored, and consequences respected. Social media no longer held any sway over me. Posts, vague accusations, and indirect attacks became white noise, irrelevant to the life I was rebuilding. I stopped caring about public perception or vindication online. The real victory was private: clarity, peace, and reclaiming control over my life and finances. Looking back, the wedding, the planning, and the heartbreak were all catalysts for growth. They forced me to confront difficult truths, assert my boundaries, and act decisively in the face of betrayal. The money, the lost celebrations, the public scrutiny, they were secondary to the lessons learned about integrity, accountability, and self-respect. I had emerged bruised, yes, but also stronger. I knew now that I deserved honesty, love, and partnership, not illusions, empty gestures, or social performances. I had the right to protect my future, my finances, and my emotional well-being. I had the right to enforce consequences without guilt. Today, my apartment is calm, work is steady, and my life is my own. I'm no longer planning a wedding that will never happen. I'm no longer navigating the manipulations of someone who never truly loved me. Instead, I'm building a life defined by my choices, my standards, and my principles. The payments continue as agreed, but they are no longer a source of anger. Each deposit is a quiet affirmation of responsibility, accountability, and fairness. They serve as reminders not of what was lost, but of what was gained: self-respect, independence, and the clarity to recognize the love I truly deserve. The story doesn't end with reconciliation, fantasy, or the fulfillment of social expectations. It ends with honesty, resilience, and a steadfast commitment to personal boundaries. It ends with reclaiming control of my life, finances, and emotions. It ends with moving forward, wiser, stronger, and certain of the kind of love and partnership I will accept in the future. I've learned that relationships are not transactions, but when someone treats them as such, consequences are necessary. I've learned that clarity, integrity, and fairness are non-negotiable. I've learned that walking away from illusions is not weakness, it is courage. Now I look ahead, unburdened by false commitments or empty promises. I am free to pursue authentic connections, real love, and a life built on respect, honesty, and shared values. The wedding may have been canceled, the money slowly repaid, and the fantasy shattered. But what remains is real. Me, intact, resilient, and ready for whatever comes next. And that, in the end, is more than enough.